Okay, let's stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call shows all council members are present tonight. We have some additions to the agenda. Have a motion for that?
A motion to approve the additions.
Second.
Mr. Chair, or Mr. Mayor, if I could ask on the agenda, if it's appropriate or if it's feasible, under new business C, discussing the splitting of the Pleasant Lake water system, I don't know if that was at the Finance Committee or not, but it would be interesting if we could shift that around so that we could hear from the Finance Committee first, if there was any compelling, and then go back to the discussion. So
We're actually suggesting that that item be removed from the agenda.
No, just switch it around so that the,
No, we're asking, Dwayne, that we
Remove.
move it to the next meeting
Oh.
agenda. We didn't actually, we're not ready to discuss it at council.
on the
On C, this.
new business C?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that'll be
So we
tabled
table
until
that
another
or,
time?
yeah,
Okay,
okay,
and I have no problem.
Okay.
all right.
Okay, motion been made second to approve the addition agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Open forum. Anybody wish to speak?
Tim Byram, 80th Avenue. On behalf of the residents of 80th, south end of 80th Avenue and Holly Road, I'd like to thank this council for approving the monies this year to do the improvements, and maintenance on 80th Avenue. Nick and Jean did an excellent job using no contracters, using a skid loader, a pay loader, and a dump truck, and a couple of trailers. Did an awesome job well before the wedding, the big day. It really turned out nice. It really did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good job, Nick.
Good job.
Anybody else? Next item, consent agenda. We've got 2 months of minutes to approve here. I think Rick had some changes to the July meeting
I'm
minutes and,
okay with the,
okay. So,
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
motion been made and second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
I
Oh,
have
go ahead, Rick.
discussion here. For the treasurer's report, could we carve that out and put it down with discussion under new business of the proposed tax levy and budget?
Okay,
Because the
Anybody else?
treasurer's report has the quarterly report too.
okay.
Okay,
All right, assume the motion is
sure.
amended to exclude
Yeah.
that? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Board and staff report, please. John's not here.
He's not here, but I got
Something to-
something in an email today from John. He says, "Hi Rena, bad news. I'm out of the office today and won't make the meeting tonight. Good news, we executed a writ of recovery on the Brown property today on Lake Road, and they have been removed. If anyone sees them on the property, they should notify our office." Now, if you know what I'm talking about, the Brown property, the Browns are like the southern end of Lake Road, and we've had problems with
Junk,
junk, yeah, so. Okay,
okay.
plus, he's, he had his annual, or monthly report in the book, so.
I actually was down there today because I was going out to walk my dog and saw 7 squad cars going down the road all in line, so I was a little bit wondering what was going on. And part of the thing that I heard was there was a threat to the officers, so they brought, with everything that's going on around the country about police officers,
Yeah.
right thing to do to bring in a lot of backup.
So Bill, you don't have to go down there now with them.
Yeah. So yeah, there's notices posted on the door and everything as I was coming here, so.
Great.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if people do show back up there though.
Okay, thanks, Rena. Planning Commission, Bill?
Mayor, council members, excuse me, we have one agenda item tonight. We had a public hearing on the Vernon Roscus property, which is 11167 Hubert Lane. We opened up the public hearing, we had no one come and contest what they're asking for. They're basically asking for two variances. One is on the setback requirement from the roadway and impervious surface. We talked about it, and what they want to do is construct a 24 by 24 attached garage to the property abutting Grand Lake, which is a general development lake. The said request is also located, said garage would be 21 feet from the roadway rather than the required 25 feet. Just so the council knows that the garage that's being constructed is actually being built over tar, which is already there. So they're not adding, and Dwayne was at the meeting. Discussion was held. We did a finding of fact, which indicated all yeses. So the Planning Commission is recommending approval of the two variances with, when they were granted, a slight mitigation plan that needs to be approved by the city.
Sure.
Yeah, it's on here. Oh, you don't like it.
Mr. Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission to grant the two variances.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made second. Yep.
Can I just ask a question before you? So you said a slight mitigation plan, and I'm just.
Well, a mitigation plan.
plan.
Yeah.
And Rena had
impervious.
talked with, earlier on with the Roscus about it. Rena was out medical this last week, so Judy took the minutes. Rena, do you want to just talk about?
Do you want to talk about the mitigation that would be?
Actually, just stopping in today for a little bit, I did look at some pictures, and Vernon is here. Right there he is. He actually, as a part of some other project you did before we became a city, am I right? You had to build a berm.
I did it for water and soil, and that's how
So,
they told me to do it, and that's how I did it.
yep, and he's got pictures of that. I will also look at that, plus the whole impervious thing. And what did we say we were over?
Looks like 18.34 square feet. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's very incidental.
Yeah.
Can be
Yeah.
done with rain barrels or with,
Right, yep.
yeah. I shun on rain barrels, but if there's a rain garden, that'd be preferred.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a minor one, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out there too after the planning commission, I did, went down and looked at, he's got that little what he put in it, that'll retain a lot. And I didn't see any issue there that would, if he catches a rain barrel or something, he'll be fine. And it being it's over the concrete that's there already,
Yep.
we're not really increasing it by 18 feet is very minute, so. Should work out fine.
The berm would probably be
Satisfied.
easy to help
Yeah.
a rain garden, of any type of depression.
Yeah.
My question would be the 4 feet more, closer to the road, the required setback 25 feet and it's gonna be 21. Is that in line with other properties there? Is that pretty much,
Is it?
yes, it is.
okay, then,
But it's back further than anybody knows.
okay.
You're building right alongside your existing single stall, right? You're not coming any closer to the road? So he's already at 21
he's-
feet, I think.
Okay,
And we have to remember that's Hubert Lane, there's not a
Right.
space out
Right.
there.
I'm good.
Okay. I can't remember, did we have a motion? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, motion been made and second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same, motion passes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Public Works, Nick.
We have a request for council action to basically transfer the money. We ordered a grinder station for Wayne Sanders' property. Rita, can you explain how that works?
Yeah, the cost was $52.99, which Mr. Sanders did reimburse the city for. At the same time, Nick ordered two more, three?
Three grinder stations, 3 grinder motors, pumps.
And anytime you go over 10,000?
I
Yes.
believe so, for
Anytime you
shipping.
go over 10,000 from this company, you get free shipping. Otherwise, there's another $800 to truck that grinder station up here. So he needed to get some extra pumps, so combine the two together. So what Nick is asking for is an adjustment to the budget. 'Cause it looks like he overspent when really that $52.99 was reimbursed to the city. That's essentially what he's asking.
That's what we're asking, is just to amend that.
So the $52.99, that was reimbursement, plus you're gonna, another 5,000, you're gonna order 3 grinder pumps?
He's already done that.
That's
Okay.
already
That's.
done.
But it's covering
This isn't
something.
after the expense, so.
Okay.
You're saving that $800 in shipping if you'd have ordered them individually. So if you, every time you order one, it would have been $800, so we're saving that extra there.
I'll make that motion to approve the request for action.
Second it.
Motion been made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Did you have anything else, Nick? You want to talk about that hoop structure deal? Was it?
Yeah, at the Public Works Commission meeting, we discussed going out for bid on a hoop structure for our salt shed. It came to, as the engineer came in, we found that we do have a city ordinance that says we do not allow hoop structures. So if we do decide to go with the hoop structure, we'll have to go through that process. Otherwise, it is at the fire hall. We could do a pole barn steel type of building with, we were looking at 4-foot poured sides, and then it would have tan steel on it and a red roof, and it would match the fire hall, being as it is on that property and is visible from the road and the highway and everything. So just seeing what you guys want to do with that.
When the Public Works Committee met with Nick out at the site, we had asked them to get bids on both. A wood frame with steel on it or a hoop structure, and then he just found out that we don't allow it by ordinance, but I think we could grant ourselves a variance if we
Variance.
wanted to, and we
And
don't
this is-
necessarily have to decide that tonight, but we could decide to instruct Nick to get bids on both and then decide later.
Stay with
We wanna
that
do.
to get bids on both.
This is a commercial hoop structure with certified engineering, and the hoop structures that we don't allow are those that are picked up, for lack of better words, at a big box store or something like that, that doesn't have the engineering. So, you know, if there's a fine line that needs to be changed, that would be the definitive nature of how you could do that. Because if it's properly engineered, there's no reason for a hoop structure not to be allowed in our community.
Well, I don't know, how does the ordinance, I didn't review the ordinance, I'm assuming, Rena, do you know the
I
ordinance?
agree with Dwayne, what he's saying there. We did allow the Calmart down here to
Right.
do that. It has, it meets the
Commercially
snow
engineered.
load, that was the biggest thing, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why that one was granted.
It will
We-
appear
we-
similar to that. I just wanted to double check with you guys, see what you want to do.
It would be a
with that.
variance, but, I think.
We
could
gave
do-
him a I mean, that, so it is proper, so it is not allowed in the ordinance, we
Any-
granted a variance.
Did you have a
for it,
variance,
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit
And I
different,
think it's a different type of structure altogether.
Yeah.
okay. Well, we all in
We could have
agreement?
him bid it out, I think,
Yeah,
both ways.
both ways.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
thank
And
you.
that structure, like at the Calmar, when I worked with open the snow, it doesn't take too long. You get heavy snow when the sun comes on, it slides off very quickly. It does not stay up there very long. And it can blow off easier too.
So, okay, you're gonna get two, all right.
Okay. All right, thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
New business, Stearns County Attorney Contract Renewal for 2016 and 2017.
Mayor and council, it looks like they want to increase it to 16,500, and I believe we were at 14, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a very, it's worked well for us, that's for sure.
Okay. This other thing that you had me sign here had to do with the county attorneys.
That's the one, that goes with this request.
Okay, so that wasn't just this release and indemnification provision, this is the whole contract?
that
It's just the last
contract.
page of the contract?
Yep.
Okay.
So Rena, when, I know she mentioned in the letter, it's based on 125 files per year. Do they charge us if we go over that, or?
No,
It's just a,
that's, we got a
so,
set amount when we.
so when I looked at this, I mean, she said, we've we're 105 cases so far. If that continued, they're estimating, we could reach 165.
Yeah.
So given that, I guess it seemed reasonable to me that they were putting an increase in, and they haven't had one since 2008. So I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and second to approve the renewal of the Stearns County Attorney's contract. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Next item, 2016 proposed tax levy and budget approval.
Okay, before you members of the council and mayor, the finance committee has met with the department heads and in fact, we met again tonight and reviewed some more changes to the proposed budget, but the net effect will not change or increase the tax levy, correct, Susan, Rick?
Correct.
Right, okay, there's some change being discussed as far as structure, how it's gonna be run in the future, but that hasn't been decided. I think that would be decided within the next month.
Yeah.
The preliminary levy, whatever you decide on tonight, if you accept the proposal, which only went up like $10,000, that's as high as you can go. You can only reduce in the December meeting, so. And Sue, Rick, maybe you want to add to this? I don't know. Rick, you had something that with the, you pulled down from the consent agenda and moved it down to there.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, being that we have,
Yeah, I was just gonna, the treasury report feeds into
Okay.
this, okay.
okay, being that we have in the report here, we have the quarterly report. I had a few questions as far as some of the amounts. One, I got a few of them highlighted here. For Fund 312 is the utility water Pleasant Lake portion. Special assessments, year-to-date, they're only $529. The budget is $220,000. Is that all entail Archon?
Yeah. So if a house gets built, then we keep money right then and there.
Right.
Go to that, yeah.
In relation to that, the city attorney that had sent out the letter back to Archon back this summer, I forget the exact, I think it was in June.
That's not in the packets though, right?
That's
No.
still a pending case, correct? Is that?
I was
Yeah,
wondering if
that's
we
right,
got
yeah.
any response back.
No,
No, okay. Under the same Fund 312, the budget has transfer from other fund of $64,365. Where does that transfer from?
the water funds.
Water fund. So the water fund is paying the debt on Pleasant Lake portion. That's what we've been trying to get at for a while here. The transfer for unaccounted water under Water Fund 601, 2015 budget, $10,435. That's for the unaccounted water that comes from general fund, correct?
Yes,
Rick, what page are you on?
That's quarterly report.
It's page 7.
Title page 7.
Page 7?
That amount, Rick, on the transfer from unaccounted water, I believe we do an entry once a year to make that transfer at the
Right.
end of the year.
Right.
So I know the actual says
Zero
zero, but
today,
we
right.
expect that it will be somewhere around that 10,000.
Okay. We go on to general fund, still the quarterly report. This one says general fund 101. It says page 1 at the top, so this is the expense quarterly report. And we've overspent the legal fee for the city by $7,205. the budget was 14,000, we spent already 21,205. Wasn't quite sure how we spent that already.
That kind of
It's probably
void.
related to voids
Voids.
and Archon.
So you want a breakdown of the legal? Sure, I can get that for you.
Okay. Let me go back here, okay. And I'm pretty sure I know where this one came from, but going back, expense report, page 8. City facilities, Fund 304. Budget was 146,000. Year to date was 2,146,000. I'd imagine that's for the refunding.
Yes.
Refund,
Yeah.
Paid that one.
Yep.
Okay. I was pretty sure I knew where that one came from.
Which is just a one-time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is the year. Yeah.
Because we refunded it and we paid
Yep.
the old one off. That's right, the old one's
Yep.
paid off and now we have the new one, okay. Then we go on to page 10, still the expense quarterly report, Fund 312, utility water Pleasant Lake portion. The interest is over the budget by 14,000 already. Year to date was
Okay,
37,000.
now, you want to discuss that with the next year's budget? Is that why you're bringing this up?
Because it relates to what we're doing with the budget.
Okay, why? I'd have to look into that one. I can't, right off the top of my head.
Okay, and then also at the bottom of that page, water administration has overspent employee wages by $1,449 and we're only into September.
See, these types of things we should probably be talking about at the finance committee level as opposed to
We didn't have
here.
any time.
I know. So that hour is probably not even gonna be enough time.
Those were the questions I had on that. The actual budget, we had talked a number of times in the water fund to set up the $60,000 reserve over 4 years, and we still have in the budget collecting $15,000 per year. But we found out that back in March, I believe, that there was already a reserve balance of $33,000. So that 15,000 should be adjusted to account for that 33,000 that we already have. And when I had asked that before, you said there was never any council action to
That's what
say
we
that.
take, yep.
So,
Because you guys have directed,
okay,
Yeah,
The
I think in that
15,000.
same conversation, Nick brought up some additional expenses. I don't recall what they were, but I think that's why we never made a change to
the wish
that.
list,
And maybe we need to,
We were gonna fund that to 60,000 over a 4-year period, if I remember right, to bring
Right.
it up to roughly 60,000,
yeah.
which was
Right.
agreed upon by all. And so I guess there's certainly merit, should that be then, instead of, there's 30-some in there, there's 15,000, so 7,500 per year for 4 years instead of the 15,000?
Well,
That'd
I
be
think it
over
gets
4
to the
years.
question of, are we gonna adjust that every year if we're using money out of that reserve? So, if we have to use, let's just say we use 10,000 because we have an unexpected expense, are we then adjusting it for the years going forward to sort of replenish it back to the 60?
We had agreed upon like 6 months of reserve from a typical operations per year. That was the reason that we came up with that 60, which was about a half of
And I'm just
100.
asking, because I know Nick did list a number of, expenses that related to the water, so.
so what you're saying, Rick, is you would want to reduce this proposed levy by something relative to that 30,000 that's already.
not so much the levy, but the actual budget for the water fund to account for the 33,000 reserve we already have. Because it took us a while to get that, and, we did all agree to the $60,000 reserve over 4 years, but we were waiting to find out how much was currently in the
Right.
reserves. So once we found out there was 33,000, that leaves a balance of 27,000 to collect.
But that does
I
affect.
guess it's
what-
not clear, where does that show up even, Rena, in this
Yeah,
budget?
That's what I was gonna ask, exactly. Does that feed into this, what we have to decide tonight, and can, after we just, if we would agree to this amount tonight, then we can't increase it anymore.
We
but
can't
can-
increase it, but we could decrease it.
Decrease,
And-
but this is an enterprise fund, so this doesn't even go in the tax levy.
isn't
and that's
even-
why
okay.
Totally
Okay.
separate deal. It's
Okay.
what your checkbook looks like, if you
Yeah.
want.
Well, I think if that's not in part of this, then I think the finance committee should review what Nick is proposing relative to how that reserve is treated, and then make a decision on that.
So rather than to make a budget change in the paper trail of looking at it from the financial committee, that you would then come forward with a recommendation other than the 15,000 as we progress forward. But, you know, there's one thing that's gonna be a moving target. Next year, if it ends up being 70,000 as the amount that would need it, then we would be adjusting that up to $35,000 of, in theory, of reserve that we would need to have. Not that we hope to ever spend it, but reserve is there for a reason, and that is so that we don't have to go to some assessment or something like that. That would be a worst case scenario.
So the bottom line is what Rick's talking about is a water enterprise fund, and that doesn't have to get,
That's not part of
That's not
the
part of
tax
what we're-
levy, so you
okay.
don't have to do.
It's a good point, though.
so, right, okay. So we need a motion on this, if everybody's satisfied that this is gonna be adequate, and we can only reduce it?
If you want to reduce it, that will take council action, yes.
Right,
I have a question here on the back of this page that Nick had budgeted here, something for like adding a third person. Is that all figured in for the budget this year in his request? Are these items, some of them figured in there?
Well, that's the discussion that occurred at the finance committee meeting just tonight, and
We
Go
started
ahead.
discussing that tonight, and what we looked at, we asked for a proposal that basically said if we were adding a third person, there's line items where we're paying for contracted services that we wouldn't need to do. So we talked through those tonight, what line items would be reduced. We would need to have some equipment purchases, but I think since we just talked about it, like right before we walked in here, Rick and I thought we'd at least, just think about it, but we'd bring a recommendation back. But basically, I think it would be close to being, it would be budget neutral. So we didn't think we had to adjust the levy. It might be that we change line items, so we'd be taking dollars out of a line where we're paying contracted services and moving it to a salary line if that's the way we decide to go. But we would bring a recommendation back.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering, if that was even, that we didn't have to,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
do
we
it.
felt like we
That'll
were,
work then.
it seemed like the budget would be about the same.
So-
Okay, good.
If I may, Sue, so when the finance committee does, so you'd be doing a cost-benefit analysis of outsourcing versus in-house
Correct.
staff, and then
Correct.
have that recommendation coming forward to us in plenty of time. But today, it's really revenue neutral if it's going to be.
Right, we think it's
Going
budget
outsourced or if it's
neutral,
going to
so,
be-
And that was with some of the equipment being bought out of the general reserves?
yeah, using up 73,000, was it, of the designated funds, then we'd probably have to dip into the general fund balance.
so we would go through how we got there, but there would need to be some equipment purchased. So we looked at what's the cost of that equipment, where would we take it from? We'd probably have to we have some restricted funds, not quite enough. And then we looked at sort of the life on that equipment and said, so amortizing that over an annual cost, so that cost plus a staffing cost, how does that compare to the budget? So,
And for just a moment here, and I think this is not the spot, but seasonally, we'd have to look at more than 1 year, because, if you have an extremely large snowfall, and especially the Hubert Lane, and we'd have to outsource versus buying equipment, if it's over a period of years, the cost justification. And that is not a council action, but something with financing. committee.
So,
So the tax levy that is before you is in the amount of $1,128,675. And then you have the the budget right behind it.
And not the rate, but the actual dollar value. What does that equate to in a percentage? Is that a,
Oh, I think it was less than, what, 10,000 is probably less than 1%, you know, and I don't.
like one, yeah, because of a million, okay.
And if you remember, S.J. Lewis, the Job Z goes off this year, so next year, that alone would be enough to, you know, take care of that increase.
Through attrition, that's a logical number.
But I think looking at what we're doing here compared to some of the other cities that their rates or tax levy, what budgeting is increasing someplace, it's pretty conservative.
I also want to add that there is a 2% increase in cost of living that was built into this, so if you approve that, you will approve that in December, that would be the approval. It's part of the process and
Okay.
it would be awarded then January 1st.
That's across the board, all.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just a technical, does local government aid get added into, or is that do we use that as a line item for revenue coming in?
Yes.
we do.
yes.
We do.
Yep.
177,000
Okay.
something.
And it's slowly but surely increasing again, and
Yep.
so
Yep.
we are now just over the 2,509. I was at a meeting on Monday at the League, and we're 2,509 officially of the inhabitants or residences
Yeah,
of the
right.
city of Rockville. So that might change us on the formula for
Maybe
the,
a little bit.
yeah. I don't know.
I just wanted to point out one thing on the levy, on the tax levy. The total levy is going up by just the $10,000. But just so everybody's aware where the levy is going up and going down. The revenue fund is going up for, the top one is going up by $66,555 from last year. The road and bridge fund is going up $3,700, that's not, $3,727. Fire protection is going up $20,382. Now, the special levies is where the funds are going down. Certificate of indebtedness for the pumper truck is $28 going down. Lake Improvement District is staying the same. The 2009A and 1998 government obligation bond, Fund 310, is going down by $10,044. City Facilities Fund is going down by $58,184. 304 detachment is the same, and the S.J. Lewis Fund 308 bond is just going down by $188. Just so everybody's aware that, you know, there's big changes, even though the total
Right.
tax levy is only changing by $10,000, 10,000 and whatever the actual number is, but there are a lot of changes going on, and it's mostly in the special levies.
What generates the city facilities fund to go down that much? Is that,
Well, we refunded, if you remember, we refunded, and we're expected to save $200,000 by the whole refunding.
okay,
36,000 of that, we were making an annual payment to Stearns Electric at a 0% interest loan. That was paid off this year, so that's part of that. 52, what did you say?
$58,184.
So yeah, 36 of it was just that alone.
okay. All right, I assume we have a recommendation of the finance committee to approve this?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and second to approve the proposed levy for 2016. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes.
You want to include that, accepting that treasurer's report?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Next item is schedule a public hearing for Voight's new lot assessment, roughly $7,600.
And what that is, you know, they, through this whole paying off and everything, they wanted to create that new lot, sell that lot, and then, hopefully, help pay down some of their debt. So in order to do that, these people need to be assessed. I need to do a public hearing in order to assess that, the trunk fee.
That's
The
a
motion.
standard council meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second it.
Motion made, second to approve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion passes. Okay, committee reports, anything, Corey Trail,
Very limited. We have, on the Quarry Trails, we have really nothing that affects the city of Rockville that I'm aware of.
okay,
Rita, would you recall? Oh, you weren't at that
I
meeting?
wasn't.
No?
I wasn't
No,
there.
there's nothing to discuss at this point.
okay, anything more finance? Okay. We did public.
Public Works, we took care of that.
Okay. Administrators correspondence, anything else, Rena?
Additions.
Oh, we got, no, maybe.
Yeah, additions,
I'll do the
yeah.
additions. First item is St. Joe Township looking to get reimbursed for half of the cost of putting in that culvert. I think it's roughly $22,565.89.
Right, and you know what, you actually did approve
Yep.
that at a previous meeting.
Okay,
You authorized it and said because it was quoted at 7,000, so.
okay, so no action
I don't
needed?
think you actually need to do
We
that.
agreed that last month with the St. Joe Township.
Okay,
And I've driven that, it's a little rough yet, but I think it's, Nick, once the signs come in, he'll put a sign up there also, but it took out the basic dip that was in there, so.
And, yeah,
So it's improved.
and Dwayne, would you care to speak about the fact that Rick Hansen did have?
Yes, yes.
Please do that.
Rena researched that, and yes, I questioned last month if there was proper sequence that our Public Works Director some years ago did, and he had gotten council action. We look back at the minutes, so there was no deceitful or deceptiveness or anything like that.
the next item, pickup and power sports, water sewer connection.
Okay,
It's,
August 1st, they were supposed to have it hooked up. And Nick, were you able to talk to them?
There's been no ground moved out there. We did locates, they did call in locates, but I haven't seen any trenches or anything open where they did connect.
So
What are our
what are our options?
yeah,
Well, we would order it done and pay for it and assess it back.
okay.
Can we give them one more notice that says that's what we'll do if they don't have it done by
I
a certain
think
date?
you,
We did that.
too many times.
It's been going on for how many years?
Oh, forever.
Yep,
So would we instruct Nick to get bids for that?
pardon me?
Would we ask Nick to get bids for that?
Yep,
And to get it on the assessment roll for next year, it has to be done by a certain time to be able to get it on the
by
tax,
November 15th.
right? So
Right, so we
time
can
is
have-
of the essence to get it on that tax roll.
Is that like a one-day job, probably? Yeah. Well, should we get bids and then bring it back next council
Yeah.
meeting? We got time to get it done get it on the tax rolls if we,
Yeah,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Do that, Nick, that'll be great.
Okay.
Rockville Fire Department request for action.
I believe they have 4 of them and this, you have them before you, I think?
Yeah. Do you want me to read them? Or how about Don? Why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I don't know which page you're on here. The first one
Oh,
is,
Don.
you want me to read them?
Oh, yeah, yes, you can.
I just
That's
figured he knows more about them than probably
Yeah,
any of us.
because it's
so.
fire. I was
Yeah.
thinking more finance committee, because I just
Oh.
reviewed these with them.
Okay, the first one here is for emergency response solutions for some SCBA tanks and face pieces. There's 4 SCBA, 1 or more at, they're $4,396.57, or a total of $17,586. That would be the complete set, tank, face, harness, and everything, if I understand it correctly. Then you have 6 tanks at $772, and that comes out to be $4,632.42. Now this tank, I'm not sure if there's a valve on it. Usually, if we can reuse the valves, the regulator on our tanks, now that's about $100, $150 cheaper. So we'll know that when it comes. If they order just a tank, we'll be able to use the regulators. We've done that before. But I'm not sure if he cost with the regulator, the gauge on or not. And the other one is just 4 face pieces, which would be the mask at $268.13, and that would be $1,072.52 for a grand total of $23,291.22.
And the finance committee did discuss this, and our understanding is we have a truck that can't go out without this equipment. So I think we sort of feel like it's not a choice, that they don't necessarily have the money. So I think we were in support of this, would recommend doing it and actually using it from the general, just taking it out of the general fund balance to cover it. So I would make that as a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll second that one.
Discussion, please. And would it be coming back then to refill the coffers of the reserve, coming back from future budgeting, or is this from the reserve as a capital improvement?
It's just coming from the reserve.
Okay.
It'll just, we do have, I think, a fairly healthy reserve balance in the city, and so I think we felt comfortable taking it from there, and
it wouldn't be
would not
replenished back in.
Well, we'd have to increase a budget to do that, so.
Okay,
It's
no
sort
problem.
of counter to.
Yep,
It's more of a need than a want.
that's
Yep,
right. That's
absolutely.
right. Safety is paramount.
Motion been made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion passes. Next item,
Okay, we turn over to back. The next item is reprove ASCO services to repair the generator at the fire hall for $1,721. And use designated funds for machinery and equipment, wages, and personal protective equipment to pay for this. That's the generator, it was a used generator we got when the fire hall was built. And we've had some issues, we've had some other work done, it's just to upgrade the electric. We've had problems when the power's gone up, it hasn't automatically reset. So we're having everything looked at by,
what's the personal protective equipment part, how does that feed into the
I don't know,
generator?
there's some money. I wasn't involved, Rodney, when he made this up here.
Is that for the
I
person
think
that's
he's
gotta
just
work
trying
on
to
it?
find some place to pay for it.
To pay for this.
And
here.
that's why there's their designated funds are depleted, and that's
Yeah.
why you're going to the
Yeah,
Okay,
general fund.
okay.
because the problem is in the automatic, when the power shuts off, they restart, because Rodney's gone up to Gold Cross, has called them, and they couldn't get in, the power's off, so he had manually reset it. So hopefully this will solve the issue. Everything is quite old on it, being it was a used generator when we put it in at the time to save some funding at that time when the building was built.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second it.
Motion been made and second to approve, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion passes.
Okay, that takes care of those two. The next one here is, East Side Glass replaced some glass in the garage doors at the fire hall. The seals are bad in some of them. It was 6 clear tempered glass, $196.14 plus labor, which was $85 per hour off site. And will be so the total cost would be $196.14 plus the labor.
For each or for all 6?
It says quantity 6 tempered glass. I'm not.
There's 6. It really didn't even have to come before you on
Yeah.
this site.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion passes.
Okay, and then the last one here is that the service, or the glass, Heartland Glass replaced the front door in the fire hall. The door problem there is doors, but it doesn't lock all the time and there is a gap between the doors. Several times you've got to report, if you don't do the catch right, it will not lock. So they have 2 proposals here, one from Heartland Glass for $3,470 and East Side Glass Company at $4,600. And will use designated funds under wages. It's $3,505. And Mikey Schlung is on the department, he's a carpenter, does construction work. He's had several, he had them come out and he looked at it also. And according to him, it's the best way. They have a plan how we fix it, that we know it'll be permanently locked. And it would also be making more weather safe also. So.
Weather, and
from what I understand, it's gonna go from the double doors to a single door?
Yeah, more or less just single with a solid, like a stop in there.
And looking at the doors myself, it looks to me that the doors would have some value
Yeah,
in reusing them, because I don't think they're shot.
no.
They're not locking because of building shifting or
Building
whatever.
shift and way it was designed, right.
And my question would be, are we going to get something for the old
I
doors?
can-
If they're just gonna take them out and chuck them, we should take them out, have them taken out so that they could be resold.
I can check on that.
But before we go to that, that door could be converted so that the challenge is, both of them are primary doors, you can grab either one. It should have been designed to have one primary door and the other one an astracal with a sill and a
Yes.
bolt
Yeah.
going in, and that can be converted. It's a relatively new building, and to go and spend $3,500 for something that I think should be looked at a second time. It's not eminent that it has to be done today, but I think that $3,500 is an overkill that could be done for a whole lot less and
Well,
still have the end result.
Well, like Rodney, we can look at it, but I'll say this much, if that door latch doesn't get latched properly and somebody gets in there some evening, there can be a lot of damage done
Yeah,
up there.
that's what we have insurance for.
So-
But we don't have the right to go and spend $3,505 if it can be done virtually for the same identical thing, and I don't know. And if that's the only choice that we have to go with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's had the proper research done. They're both quality people, the Heartland Glass Company
Right.
and the Eastside Glass, they're both quality. If they were both brought out there, and if that's the recommendation that they have, are they selling us something that they like to put in a new door, or can the old ones be salvaged? I think Member Tallman is right on. There should be a value that should be looked at. So when the time comes, I would probably, if it goes forward, I'm gonna vote against it.
But that's his request there, I'm bringing this forward here.
This hasn't been done yet, right?
No, none of these have been done here.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with waiting a month and address the questions you bring up.
Okay, I'll check with Rod, Mike, so I'll see if there's any other solutions.
Well,
Yeah.
if that's
Would
the
it
case,
be-
I'd ask to
So two
table.
Table that one?
Yeah, so
Okay.
two issues, if it can be repaired in some less expensive manner. If it can't be repaired, is there salvage value
Yep.
to the door?
Gotcha.
No problem. Table the motion.
Table that.
Do any action on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would be willing to take a look at that door. I've worked on a number of commercial doors, just to take a look at it and give another input. And I would appreciate Dwayne if he would,
Yep.
he's done plenty of construction, and just to get another view of it. I think because most of the time when you have the double doors, even in a home, you'll have one where you'll have like
Right.
deadbolt locks, you lock that one in and
Yeah.
only use it when you need it.
Yeah,
Right.
primary and a secondary with an astragal
Right.
and a head bolt and a
Right.
seat bolt.
So I take that was a motion from member Willenbring to table this, and a second by
Yeah.
member Tallman.
Just that one item. All the rest of them, we have done thus far. Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes. Open forum.
Well,
I assume you didn't have
I do
anything?
want to have some time with you, but
Do you have
I
something?
can wait till after the open forum.
No, go ahead.
This is gonna be hard for me, folks. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but my contract with the city ends on 11/20 of this year. I personally want to thank the city of Rockville for the opportunity to work for you for the past 15 years. I'll be looking at retirement on that date. My birthday is actually on the 16th of November. And so, yeah, it's a hard decision I had to make, or I am making. But if you remember last year, I lost 3 siblings within 6 months, and I decided I want to enjoy life while I can. I have 8 grandkids that will need me at some time or other. I plan to cook and write a book or 2. I wish you luck in finding my replacement and will gladly help in that search and train the individual as much as I can before I leave. We do have instructions for each job, and hopefully that will help. Parting thoughts, during my tenure here, we amassed over $3 million in investments, obtained a double A bond rating. We developed our own zoning ordinance along with various ordinances, a comprehensive guide plan, debt management study, industrial park, plus we built a new city hall, fire hall. Projects in the works are Stickney Hills, which, you know, we're moving forward with that since you approved the SIU. The there's a Harstead property, but I can't really comment on what's going on with that. They don't want anything to be said. So I truly hope that goes through. Just want to remind people to remember that there's always two sides of the story, to a story. More importantly, please support your staff. They are the people who keep the city running. We handle a huge budget, and that comes with very careful planning and execution. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, I would just say, Rena, thank you for all your years of service. I think you've done a great job.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
I'll second that, for sure.
Should we,
So not yet, not that I want to pick, but do we say, like, we authorize a search for,
Personnel,
Yeah.
that would fall into Personnel Committee, and Rena, please help us with this process.
so do we
Need
need
a
to make a
motion on that,
motion
huh?
to,
I'll make a motion to authorize Rena to start advertising for a replacement.
I'll second that.
Motion been made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion passes. Open forum,
could I ask,
go ahead.
is there, what is the process with Mandy's?
Oh, right now? Yeah, because I went and had surgery, that kind of got put on the back burner. I have already reviewed all the applications, there was like 18 of them. And I did my training and experience. I don't believe Judy's had time to even look at them because she's been here all alone. And yeah, as soon as we can get through that process, we will have somebody hired. It's a part-time person, so I can really hire that before it,
Comes up
you
here.
would probably do something retroactive afterwards, but as soon as we can find
Okay.
time.
I
We'll do
didn't
it.
hear what was
Is
going
there-
on with that, so I was just.
I think she's saying she can go ahead and hire for Mandy's position without coming back to the
Well,
council.
same amount of hours and same,
Yeah.
depending on pay scale.
and I think we had said that Rena and Judy could just, they're doing the interviews and
Right.
such for that position.
It's not a division head.
Yep.
Everybody okay then?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yep, please.
Okay, open forum.
Tim Byram, 80th Avenue. I personally would like to thank Rena. My first encounter, my water was shut off in the city of Waite Park. I was a new homeowner and didn't know you had to pay the water bill. I walked a block over. Rena says, give me $21 and your garbage will be picked up and we'll send somebody out to turn your water on. I said, here's a check. I guarantee you I will walk over once a month for as long as you're here and pay the water bill directly to you. Thank you, Rena.
Anybody else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made, second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion passes.